Hey there and welcome to yet another video. Originally I was going to record this just for the inbound team, but then I thought, what happens if I made it for the world? So that's exactly where we are. So hey inbound team, and hey the rest of the world, or the small subset of the world that's going to watch this video. So in this video, I'm going to cover how to tweak a blog post to turn it from really good to absolutely amazing. Now it's going to be a few small tweaks to really get over the edge. So we're going to take into account Luke's post. He posted this a week ago and it's really, really good. So let's just quickly cover this. Okay, so here's Luke's post. So the one workflow that changed my life and 5 other things that might change yours too. So if you scroll down here, some really, really good content, some good material, got a great bunch of screenshots. And one trick off the bat already is adding in GIFs into your blog posts will always boost engagement because people want to watch it to the end, they want to see it, and it always makes you laugh. So try add some GIFs there as well. So first of all, you want to see how much content there is and give it a read through and see if it's actually good content. I've read this through, it's amazing content. There's also some GIFs here, again, some very relevant screenshots, which I absolutely love. So going into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty. So one thing a lot of people do is they try to change the styles of the titles just based on these kind of like header tags. If they want to make it smaller, they'll make it an H3. If they want to make it bigger, they'll make it an H1, etc., etc. With blog posts and content and SEO on websites, every page should only have one H1 tag. The reason being is this is the one kind of sentence that you're telling Google that this web page is about. So at the moment, Luke is telling Google that this is what this page is about. Now, the only issue so far that I can start to see is although the headline's really, really good for getting people to click, which is very important, it's not too descriptive for Google. So we've got the workflow here, which is fantastic, but we might be missing out on some context. So maybe automation or HubSpot or marketing workflow, maybe one of those 3 keywords in here might help Google really understand that cool. It's not a workflow like a, I don't know, there's no such thing as a gym workflow, but it's not like a gym workflow, it's a marketing workflow, or it's an automation workflow, or it's a sales workflow, or it's a business workflow. So trying to figure out how to do that. The rule of thumb I have with headlines is, again, because if people don't click the title, they won't read the post. So I usually encourage people to write out 20 different headlines because after about 5, you start to really struggle and you start to really think outside the square. So 20 headlines is a really good way to make sure you're doing a really good job. I'll crop that up. Scrolling down. So we've also got a whole bunch of images, which is fantastic. Now, the other thing is with images, they have these things called alt texts. Now, alt texts have 2 different reasons for being. The first one is for visually impaired people. They obviously can't see the image. So they'd have a program that reads the blog post out to them. And then when it gets to an image, it'll say there's an image with the alt text description confused. And then it'll go back to, let me tell you what a workflow is. So for the person, hearing confused isn't that descriptive. So if you want to really make your website and your content better for people, writing out a bit more of a descriptive alt text is very, very good. So it could say, a man a little bit confused, as he just thought that workflows was a marketing buzzword. In that way, someone with visual impairment can be like, oh, okay, I can start to figure out what this image is. This one here is just his screenshot, very, very not descriptive. So this could say a screenshot of all the different options HubSpot has in their workflows. And again, it's just getting really detailed and they know exactly what it's about. Here it could say a woman saying goodbye after After seeing someone with the attention of a 3-year-old. Yeah, like a little bit more descriptive so they know exactly what it's about, and it relates to the blog post. The second reason that alt texts are important is because Google can also not see images. So by having a very descriptive alt text that relates to the blog post, you're letting Google know that you've thought about it, and this image is very relevant to, again, that one H1 tag, which is what the page is all about. So make sure you put more work into your alt tags. Again, all these screenshots. This one just says Johnny, which I get why it says Johnny, but someone with visual impairment and Google doesn't know why Johnny's just sitting there or why there's a picture of Johnny. These images are really powerful, so having a very descriptive alt text would really help both Google and people with visual impairment understand what exactly it is. Cool. Second rule of improving, I think I'm on number 2, but another rule of improving blog posts is having a call to action down the bottom. Now, it doesn't always need to lead to a sale, but you want the people reading a blog post to take some sort of action. So if you are writing a blog post about dieting, maybe the action you want them to take is to create a diet for themselves, or at least write down the foods they've eaten in the last week so they can start to compare it to what they think they should be eating. In here, we've got Luke saying that if you need more inspiration or want some help, flick me an email. Fantastic. I'd also love a visual call to action down the bottom as well. That might be a little bit less generic. So we've got a call to action at the moment to book a free growth workshop here in Auckland. So having that as like another step that someone could take, because during that growth workshop, we can again talk about marketing workflows and that kind of stuff. So having some call to actions down the bottom, and when you start writing a blog post, always have the end action in mind as well. Cool. Now we'll go into some settings. So URLs are a very important one. If you don't change the URL, it just pulls the title into it. Now that makes it very hard for, again, Google to know what your post is about. So what most people do is they kind of want the keywords in there. So it could be almost like, hey, and welcome back. Sorry, I just realized I stopped recording, so I've re-recorded, but I've made a few changes. I'll run through all the changes I made while I thought I was recording. So I've changed it to a very short, how marketing workflows changed my life. If you want to make it even more specific, you could actually remove this bit as well. So it's just marketing workflows. Now remember, I'm not sure if marketing is the right word here. Luke, jump back on and let me know or make the change if it should be business workflows, HubSpot workflows, whatever word works best there. And you'll notice I've also added the word marketing up here as well to help Google, again, be very, very sure that, okay, this isn't gym workflows, which don't exist. This is marketing workflows or business workflows, etc. So scrolling down, we've got this thing over here called featured image. So a featured image is when you share things on social media or share things around, you'll notice that if you insert a link, an image usually appears. If it doesn't appear, that means someone hasn't set their featured image. So always make sure you choose which image you want to show up. Otherwise, it could be random. Like it could be this lady saying goodbye. Luke's chosen this one, which is fantastic. Or you can also upload your own custom featured image. Whew, good job. So we've covered the H1 tags where you want to be as specific as possible to help Google in its quest to understand exactly what your web page is about. We've covered alt tags. We've covered making sure that you don't make these H1 tags just because you want the font to be bigger. You always want these to be H2s or H3s, etc. The body text is fantastic. We've talked about the call to actions down the bottom as well. Again, we've got Luke's email, but if we had like maybe an image call to action on top of that, we would get even more results, which is fantastic. And that is pretty much how you optimize a blog post. Now, a lot of tools as well, like WordPress's CMS has like plugins like Yoast. They've got different things to help you quickly just double check all the optimization you've done. So this is HubSpot's one. We've got the meta descriptions aren't too long. We do have one error, and I think I made that when I added the word marketing into the title. So we can go and fix that as well. But at the moment, it's saying the page title is too long. So on Google, it's saying that this actually would be cut off like around here. But that's okay, because that's an easy fix. So we'll do that quickly later on. But yeah, that's it. That's all you need to do. And the reason why it's super important to give every single piece of content you're writing a 5-minute sweep is, again, if people aren't seeing the content, you've spent so much time creating good content, you'll be very disappointed if no one actually reads it and no one actually gets value out of it. So by doing this quick 5-minute SEO sweep, what we're trying to do is help you get more people reading the amazing content you've written. And that's why headlines are also so important, because if they're not clicking on the content, again, they're not going to read it. So making sure your headline is as good as possible, and you can always split test that, and making sure the SEO on all the content is very, very clean and very just well thought out. So the rules aren't very hard. It's just a good title, a short URL that takes into account what keyword you're trying to really hit home, adding in the alt tags, having a call to action and an action to take for the person. So that's it for this inbound team. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it has given you some more ideas. To the rest of the world, I hope this has done the same thing for you as well. And that's it. Make sure your content is read, and to do that, have a good headline and have good SEO. Thanks.